Now, good evening, everybody. Oisín MacDiarmada here, coming to you from Coolani in County Sligo as part of the Knocklane Music Festival in Maugherow, County Sligo, over in North Sligo. How are you all doing? Let me know if you can hear me. Hopefully, well, I don't want you to hear too much of me, but hopefully you can hear enough. So if you're tuning in and before I grab the fiddle, you might let me know if you're getting audio there. And yeah, the Knocklane Festival over in Maugherow, County Sligo, a great new festival that's come about in recent years. And myself and my wife, Samantha Harvey, and who'll be joining us in a couple of minutes, and the one and only Seamus Begley from West Kerry were due to play tomorrow night at the Knocklane Festival. But look, we can't do it this year, but we hopefully will be back again to bring Seamus all the way up from County Kerry. It's always great to get him up to this part of the world. What a legend of singing and accordion playing Seamus is. But look, I'm going to have to do on my own here tonight, and with the help of Samantha, who will be joining me as soon as our little baby Finan decides that it's sleep time. So I'll keep you posted on that. I hope you've been enjoying the great music from the Kelly family, and then from Kerry Heritage and Friends. Kerry, of course, is the central person involved in organising this Knocklane Festival as part of our Ben Bulben Cultus. So greetings to Kerry, who obviously I haven't seen in a little while, but we've been chatting on the phone, and congrats on the festival, and we hope to be back very soon. I'm going to grab the fiddle now, and please send in messages and requests. This is well, we'll try and have more of a thank you, Kira. We can hear you. Thanks a million. That's encouraging anyway. And yeah, send in your requests, because it'll be nice to have some sort of a session atmosphere here tonight, rather than a concert. So I have a few tunes in my head, but I hope to be sidetracked by your suggestions as well. And you'll see there on the screen that our the charity partner for this great event is the Northwest Hospice here in Sligo, who need no introduction to the marvellous work that they do. So please give generously. Obviously this is a voluntary event, and we would be delighted to have your support for the Northwest Hospice in Sligo. So without further ado, we'll get cracking. I do have the fiddle, just in case you were thinking I was going to be talking all night. God forbid. Kira says, "Hope the baby sleeps." Yeah, well, I can hear that he's not quite asleep yet. So you know what I mean by that. And maybe if I don't play anything too raucous, he might drift off. I was thinking of starting with a nice little jig called "The Walls of Liscarroll," placed down in County Waterford. It's, if you say it fast enough, it sounds like Liz Carroll, the great Chicago fiddler. But obviously the tune is referring to County Waterford, "The Walls of Liscarroll." It's a tune that was recorded a number of years ago by the wonderful Galway fiddler Frankie Gavin. Now, thanks very much for all your messages. Desmond there says the Humours of Lissadell, please, Oisín. Of course, that's a great idea, and definitely one of the most local tunes that we could be playing for the Knocklane Festival. Lissadell House, of course, being only over the road from Maugherow there. And yeah, the second tune that I went into is a jig called The Man in the Bog, and it was written by a fiddler who came from County Mayo, called Brendan Tonra. And Brendan grew up just outside Charlestown in County Mayo, and spent a lot of his life in Boston and passed away a few years ago. Lovely, lovely fiddler, and also a great composer of tunes. And that was one of his tunes, The Man in the Bog. And we'll play that one for the memory of the tragic loss of Detective Horkin there from Charlestown. Very, very sad to hear of what happened in Castlereagh the other night. So a very, very sad loss for his family. So we'll dedicate that one to anybody from that area, from the Charlestown area, who are acquainted with Detective Gorda Horkin, Colm Horkin. So hope you've been enjoying the online Knocklane Festival. Nearly as good as the real thing. Well, I don't know, but it's certainly great to mark the occasion. And this being the summer season, you could be marking every day or every weekend the great festivals that happened in Ireland. We're very fortunate to have so many wonderful music events happening in Sligo, in the region, and of course many other parts of the country as well. But we're going to go back to some Sligo tunes, and I'm going to pick up on Desmond's suggestion there of the Humours of Lissadell. It's a lovely, lovely tune, very famous, played by musicians from all over. So definitely one of the Sligo tunes that that come to mind, that have spread all around the world. So this tune was probably played most famously by the Sligo fiddler Paddy Killorn, who came from just outside Ballymote in County Sligo. One of the greats of Sligo fiddling. So we'll play this one for anyone from the Ballymote area who's tuning in tonight. And I promise you, Samantha will be joining us whenever Finan decides that it's bedtime, which hopefully it's before we finish up. But you know, these things, you can't guarantee anything. Hard enough to put ourselves to bed, let alone a young baby. So. Is that the one, Desmond? That ring a bell? Hi to Kerry. I see Kerry Heritage tuning in there, organiser of this great festival. I first met Kerry actually, to deviate before we go into the tune. I first met Kerry back in the late 90s when we did a cultist tour of Britain together. What a great, very tiring but amazing fun tour across England and Scotland. Don't think we made it to Wales, but Kerry might have been more awake for the tour than I was, but it was a great time. Probably my first time to go on the road and spend a few weeks with a bunch of great musicians, dancers and singers, so it was a blast. So that was my first great introduction to Kerry, and thanks a million for the invite to the festival this year, Kerry. As I said, hopefully we'll be back in real life at some point with the bold Kerry man, Seamus Begley. Here we have the Humans of Lissadell. Well, thanks Desmond for that suggestion, the Humans of Lissadell, and good to see Trudy. Yeah, good to see Trudy. Trudy is a wonderful lady that I meet from time to time here in Sligo. And Sean Gavin, good man. Sean, an amazing flute player and piper. Yes, to mark any tunes to mark the passing of Chicago legend Kevin Henry this week. What a great idea, Sean. Kevin Henry needs no introduction to anybody from this part of the world, but I'll introduce him anyway, I suppose, because he was a legend of music and recitation from this part of the world. Kevin's sister, Verona Ryan, nee Henry, lives just outside Sligo town. What a great lady, a great fiddle player. Definitely one of the stalwarts of music here in Sligo from back to when I remember growing up as a youngster playing music. And Verona is always such a treat to run into Verona. It's been more than a few months, unfortunately, since I've seen Verona, but greetings from Coolani here. But poor Verona lost her brother Kevin last week, and Kevin was a larger-than-life character, and just an incredible style of flute playing, uilleann piping, and recitation as well from this area. And I never got to spend much time with Kevin, unfortunately, because he's lived a lot of his life, in fact most of his life, in Chicago, but he led a very, very interesting life in that he got around to many places all over America. He worked in many parts of America, Newfoundland and Canada, and various parts over in England as well before he headed over there. But he was a huge presence, particularly on the south side of Chicago, and he's known by people all over the world. And Sean Gavin, who wrote into us there, hi to Sean. Sean, was very, very influenced by Kevin, struck up a great musical friendship with Kevin for many years, and has learned an awful lot of his music and brings that music on. And that's what's so beautiful about this music, is that we're all in our journey through life and our musical lives. We're influenced by various musicians, and the people that influence us a lot, we hope to maybe soak up some of that influence, music and otherwise, and spread it on. And Sean is certainly doing that with the music of Kevin Henry on the flute. And well, maybe I'll play a couple of tunes. Actually, these tunes were on Kevin's album, which is called One's Own Place, as far as I remember. It was brought out on Bogfire Records quite a number of years ago, and beautiful treasure of recordings of Kevin. But there was a track also of Kevin's brother, Johnny Henry, who was a marvellous fiddle player, and he lived here in the Sligo area up until the 90s. The year goes out of my head, but maybe the mid-90s, when Johnny passed away. But Johnny was a beautiful fiddle player, and this is a set of tunes that he played, so I'll dedicate these to Kevin and all the Henry family. And I think these tunes are called Paddy Sean Nancy's was the name of the set in general. And Paddy Sean Nancy was a musician that Johnny Henry, or Johnny Watt Henry, got these tunes from. So I hope you enjoy them. And this one goes out to all the friends of the Henrys, particularly Kevin. Paddy Sean Nancy's reels from the playing of Johnny Henry, brother of the great musician Kevin Henry, who passed away in Chicago last week, and one of the legends of flute playing in particular from this part of the world. So thanks to Sean Gavin, amazing musician. Sean, I've had the pleasure of spending a lot of time touring, mostly in America, but Japan and other places as well with Sean, and it's always great fun and marvelous music. So thank you, Sean, and hope you're doing well. Sean is over in Minneapolis these days, over in the US. So good to hear from you, Sean. Keep sending in the message. Sean Gilmartin, great tunes, Oisín. Well, thanks very much, Sean. Maybe we can get Sean Gavin to come over for the Knocklane Festival to join a great teacher, and the rest of the comment. It was going great. The praise was marvellous, and I'm just not sure what you said at the end. I hope it stayed positive. I'm sure it did. Thanks for that, Sean Gilmartin. It would be wonderful to have Sean Gavin over here. Any excuse. He does come over, particularly in the last few years. Sean makes a few trips over to Ireland teaching and playing at various events. So a man in much demand, which is not a surprise. I first met Sean Gavin now, not Sean Gilmartin, lest we be getting confused with ourselves, at some of the All-Ireland Fleadh na Ceoil, we should say. Over the years, Sean's dad, Mick Gavin, a lovely fiddler from County Clare, was always a great man to run into at the Fleadh for a chat, and that's how I got introduced to Mick's son, Sean. And I remember the first time I went over to America in '98 on the Coltis tour, 1998. I met Sean's dad and Sean indeed in Ann Arbor in Michigan, close to where Sean grew up. So a great place for Irish music, mostly thanks to Sean's dad, who taught music there for many years. So there you go, so many pockets of great music all around the world, and hopefully more and more all the time. Thanks very much, Kira, for the messages. Does anybody have any more requests? I can hear some the occasion scream from upstairs. I'm not sure if it's a request of a particular tune or a request to stop playing. Who knows? But we've time for one more selection. So the next person to suggest a tune that I kind of know, I'll play tunes I kind of know, but if I don't know it, if I don't know how it starts, I won't play it. How about that? Any last requests before we finish up? Otherwise I have to think for myself, which is a struggle. I'll give you a couple of seconds now. I'll blather on for a moment or two. We had a lovely message there from Martin Enright. Great to hear from you, Martin, and happy belated birthday. I believe it was Martin's birthday yesterday or the day before. So happy birthday to you, Martin. And happy belated birthday also to Declan Folan, a great Sligo fiddler. It was Declan's birthday this week as well. So there you go. Thanks very much to all who have donated to the Northwest Hospice here, which is what all of the proceeds from tonight is going to the Northwest Hospice in Sligo. I know people have a lot of demands, but it's your generosity is appreciated by the Northwest Hospice, who do a great job here in the Sligo area. So thanks very much to the Knocklane Festival, to Kerry Heritage and John the Map for helping out with the festival going online this year, and to everybody else who played tonight, to Kerry, to John Henry, and the Kelly family, and everybody else. Sean is coming in, the Tar Road to Sligo. Yes, the Tar Road to Sligo, that's right. Have you anything to go with it? Can you make a selection for me now? I'll just double check I'm getting all the comments here, because the phone doesn't always let you see all the comments. I'm just going to look here. Sean has said the Tar Road to Sligo. That's Sean Gilmartin. Stolen Child or Smell of the Bog from Desmond again. Stolen Child. Do you know, I'm kind of lost. For a start, Stolen Child or Smell of the Bog. I wonder now. If you're able to lilt me at the start, it would be great, but I know you can't do that on Facebook Live, unfortunately. But anyway, Taro to Saigo, it is. We'll give this one a shot. We started with jigs, so we'll finish with jigs, and we'll see what comes out after the Taro to Saigo. Thanks very much for tuning in, everybody, and Ihawa, if you're tuning in from Ireland, good night, and if you're tuning in from elsewhere, you might have a few more hours left, and enjoy the weekend. All right, thanks everybody. Lovely to hear from you all. Good night and thank you.